Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Temmie Talks Live here on the Wavy Baller Hub. Manchester United 3, Tottenham 2. Huge win, absolutely huge win in the race for the top four. Really exciting game, man. It's been a while since I've gotten to go live and talk about something fun, i.e., winning a game. So this is good. This is good. I'm happy. I'm energetic. I'm excited to have guests to talk about this game with. So much to discuss. A Ronaldo hat trick. Wow. I could not have seen that coming in a million years. Could not have seen that coming in a million years, but great players know how to do great things in big moments. You gotta give Ronaldo credit for that. Big player, big moment, and dragged us into a huge win. Huge win. I'm gonna bring my guest in here in a second. I'm gonna bring my guest in here in a second. But guys, make sure to hit the like button if you're watching. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure to come over to youtube.com. Search the Wavy Baller Hub, hit the like button for me, hit the subscribe button for me. I'm going to bring in my guest now. I have a regular here now on the channel, bringing in Suyash, who's going to be on audio with us, and then NK, adding him as well onto the channel. What's going on, brothers?
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Big win, guys. Big win, gentlemen. Exciting win. Cristiano Ronaldo hat trick. A lot of ups and downs again. It wasn't an easy ride, but we got there in the end. I'm gonna go to NK first, bro. What did you think about that game?
What do you call it? Hey, you know what do you call it? When we done the match preview, I actually predicted a 3-2 scoreline, but it wasn't the kind of like 3-2 that I was hoping for. Very what do you call it? Very open game. Both teams that you can just tell that defensively they're really bad defensively. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Oh yeah, you can hear me. Yeah, but both games defensively you can. So, but you know what? I think today's game, with United, I think we were lucky not to get a clean sheet. Defensively, we set up very good because obviously before the game, I told you like one of the ways to head Tottenham was to play like a three at the back. We didn't play three at the back, but what Ralph done was we set up to defend very narrow and compact. Like our fullbacks were not getting drawn towards the Tottenham fullbacks. We just left them to have the ball and deal with the crosses, and we kind of like dealt with everything so good. Like as I said to you, the 2 goals, it was just an unfortunate 2 goals to concede today.
Interesting. For me, I was a little nervous the whole game. I feel like, yes, there was an element of us being compact, but I thought that Spurs had a lot of decent little half chances in terms of getting in behind on goal and things like that. And it made me nervous. The 2 goals specifically, if you look at them, it was all because they were pulling our defenses in places it didn't want to go. You know what I mean? But all in all, still, you're right. I think they didn't scare us too much outside of obviously it was a penalty. It was a penalty, and then the second one was an own goal. I mean, unfortunate stuff, but I was nervous the whole game. I can't lie. But we'll dive into it a little deeper. Suyash, I'll go to you next. What did you think about the game as a whole?
Strange one. We kept the ball well when we did have it. Sorry, I would say we passed the ball well when we did have it, but we still conceded them the possession. So for me, we didn't play like a home team. We were actually playing like an away team, which did bother me a bit. Because you remember I was saying we are a funny team in the Watford game. Today we were like as a team we were passing at 90% or something, but we still had like 43-45% possession. So there are things that we do that are really strange that don't match up. But yeah, we'll get into the details of it later.
Yeah, it's from again. It was a weird one. We definitely. I was surprised Ralph conceded as much possession as he did. I'm not sure what the stats were on the game in terms of possession. If I'm looking here, possession. Let's see. I'm trying to find the stats there for that. But I didn't feel like we possessed the ball or controlled the game as much as I thought we would have. It just felt like that. But I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what these possession stats are.
I think
Let me
we
see if
had
I can find
43
it.
or something.
43% possession. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because I couldn't find it here, but a weird one, a really weird one. I think we deserve to win the game, though. That being said, I don't think Spurs did enough to say that they deserved a result out of this. I don't know what you guys feel about that, NK. I just think that
Yeah,
we deserve to
as
win
I
that
said, to you,
game.
I think the biggest problem with us is anytime we got the goal, we kind of like go back into a place where we kind of like sit back and invite the pressure to us too. And that is the big problem with United. Like, when you get a goal, just keep on going and try to get, what do you call it? The second or the third goal too. But
Right.
as I told you, Tottenham were not really hurting us. The only thing I can say is like in the opening minute, Son was kind of like getting a bit kind of like the better of Matic, where his runs
Yeah.
he was struggling to deal with him. So I think what
Yeah.
Ralph did was Ralph kind of like switch
Switched.
Fred,
Yeah, I saw
yeah,
that.
around to kind of like help deal with that kind of like threat. But as I said to you, they didn't really create no clear cut chances. The gear didn't really have a lot of like save to kind of like do too. And the two center backs too, I feel like they had a decent game. The two center back, they had a decent game where they were dealing with their crossing, they were dealing with their passes that's coming. Kane too, kind of like dropping deep. I feel because Matic was there, it allowed Maguire not to get drawn out too much. He got drawn out like I think like 2 or 3 times, but anytime he got drawn out too, he dealt with Kane. So today we kind of like kept Kane quiet, Son too was quiet too. So defensive unit wise, as I said to you, we did good, but it just anytime we scored a goal, instead of us to keep the ball and be good in possession, that's where we kind of like should improve as a team on that.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a big win, though. This is a huge win. I know that I think Arsenal have 4 games in hand on us, something like that.
Yeah.
It's just it's an uphill battle. We need a lot of breaks right now, but in terms of our top 4 race, we're still in it. I mean, we needed to win this. I don't know Tottenham now. They're still sitting at 7th, 45 points. They still have 2 games in hand on us. I mean, this is a weird spot to be in. We have to keep winning. If not, anytime we lose, it just puts us that much further back because of how many games in hand Arsenal have on us, and the likes of Tottenham, West Ham have a game in hand on us. So it's an interesting one. I'll go to Suyash. Do you think we'll make top 4 after this this big win?
It's really difficult to predict at this point because everyone's been really inconsistent, and my bet my bet keeps changing between Spurs to Arsenal to us. Obviously, I want us to get top 4, but it's really difficult at this stage. I feel it's Arsenal's to lose the top 4 battle with the amount of games they have in hand, and for
Right.
us, we just have to keep on winning. And like you said, even one draw would be a huge result in favor of Arsenal.
Yeah, big time, big time. We'll see. You're right. It's still very sporadic in that top 4 race. We're currently sitting 4th. Uh Arsenal is sitting in 5th with 4 games in hand on us. West Ham 6th with a game in hand. Spurs still have 2 games in hand on us, even though we just beat them. So it's an interesting one. Sil says, I'm considering quitting watching United games where Maguire starts. How many more times do we need to suffer? Stop handicapping yourself, Ranić. And let's get into the goals really quickly, and then we'll go into the player ratings. First goal, Cristiano Ronaldo, if I remember correctly. This was the wonder goal, the flick from Fred, who played great by the way today. I thought Fred was
Yeah.
was excellent today. And then the super strike. I mean, that was vintage throwback Cristiano Ronaldo. NK, what do you think about that goal?
You know what? It was similar to the goal that he scored against Brighton. We talk about before the game. We talk about Kane was the one who was going to drop deep to kind of like just do that. Ronaldo did that perfectly. What he did was that he didn't stand next to the 3 center back of Tottenham. He dropped deep today, like his positional frame map. He was everywhere. He just didn't stay kind of like one place where they could mark him. He kept on dropping them, and that goal flick from Fred very quick. It happened so quick. You know, when we got the
Right.
ball, it happened so quick. Got the ball, what a strike, what a strike, and a week off for Ronaldo. He looked so fresh today after having a week off, and I think that has been one of the problems because he played all the games most of the time. Like, yeah, but it was a well taken goal from him.
Yeah. Next goal was the unfortunate handball by Alex Tellez. I think it was Kane scored a penalty. Did you feel like, guys? Did you, Suyash? Did you think that was a handball? For me, I thought it was kind of harsh. I'm gonna be completely honest. But what did you think? Did you think that was a handball?
It was harsh, but Tellez's hand was just a little too much away from his body. So to be
Right.
fair, like if I was the opposition, I would have been screaming to get a penalty myself.
Right.
So to yeah. So I don't think he could have done much there, but still his hand was just too much away from his body.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but these things happen. The third goal in the game to take us up 2-1. It was a beautiful ball from Matic to Jadon Sancho, who gets into space, provides a beautiful low cross into Ronaldo. Wonderful finish. Jadon Sancho is getting better and better and better each game. Not even because of his goal contributions. You can just tell he's becoming way more confident. He believes he's one of the best players in this team now, and it's really great to see. NK, what did you think about that second goal? I think Matic and Jadon Sancho were key.
Yeah. But see, this is why we've been calling for Matic to be in the team because from deep, he is one of the only guys that can just do those kind of like passes and just kind of like see, and that's what you want. Like that pass literally took about 2-3 Tottenham players out of the team, and Jadon Sancho, our wingers today, they were hugging the touchline, because that's where they could receive the ball and head them, go to it, and find Ronaldo perfectly too. It's easy tap in. And
Mm,
the funny thing is, a few weeks ago, we were missing those kind of like chances, but then today it was a whole totally kind of like different. We were actually very clinical today. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, big time goal, Sancho. Again, big player, and we kept on getting in our own way. Harry Maguire unfortunately scores an own goal, and I don't even know if I'm being harsh in blaming him for that. I might, it may be harsh, but he just has a mistake in him. I'm sorry. It's just anyone who's watched my content knows I'm not a big Harry Maguire fan. I haven't been a Maguire fan from the beginning. He just has a mistake in him. He had a decent game. I don't think he had a terrible game by any stretch, but he's just always due for a mistake, something boneheaded. It's just, and I said it. I said Victor Lindelof should have started this game. I won't back off of that. Am I, guys? I'll ask both of you. Am I being, or Suyash? Am I being harsh there, saying that Maguire's just due for a mistake all the time?
Um, we both are Lindelof fans, so it is understandable that we don't like when Maguire does things like that. Just to be fair on him on that occasion, I don't think he's entirely at fault because um, I think we just left that side completely vacant, and
Yeah,
it was very easy for them to flash a pass that way. I don't know if it was Reguilon or who was that, but
yeah. I think
and then
Dallo should have stopped the cross.
yeah, and then Maguire was just trying to get last ditch there, and that he's suspect at these things. Like I feel that he just gets nervous, and there is a big moment, and it always ends up like that, rather
Yeah.
than it being a clean clearance or a clean action that
Hmm.
gets us out of trouble.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I think Victor Lindelof should be starting, especially considering I think he's been our most consistent center back. But it is what it is. It was a good game. All in all, I think we deserved to win. If we're looking at the overall stats, they beat us in expected goals. They had an expected goal ratio of 1.42. Ours was 0.93. They passed the ball way more than had, or passed the ball much more, possessed the ball much more. Just interesting game. But I'll take it. I'll take it. A bit of a smash and grab, but I think we lost 10K. A bit of a smash and grab, but we just gotta take it for what it is. Let's go into the player ratings, gentlemen. This should be fun. Shouldn't be as bad as the ones me and Suyash have been doing, where we're giving people 3s and 4s and 5s. So, let's get right into it. David De Gea, I'd give him a 5 today, and not because of him necessarily doing anything too wrong, but 2 goals conceded. I'm not gonna give him too high of a score. NK, what would you give De Gea?
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. I think he had a quiet game. Both goals, there's nothing he could do about it. I mean, he hardly saved penalties, so I wasn't expecting him to save that too. And
Yeah.
the own goal too was very unfortunate too. So yeah, I think 5 is fair for him today.
Okay. Suyash, what about you?
Same 5. Had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an easy one right there. At right back, Diogo Dalot, I'd give him a 6. I'd give him a 6. Maybe I'm being harsh. I think he was good on the ball. I think there was times where he did get caught a little bit out of position, specifically for the Maguire own goal that we're talking about. But all in all, I think he had a decent game, so I'd give him a 6. How about you, NK?
Yeah, I think it's 6 is fair. Defensively, as I said to you, he was good. He wasn't getting drawn too much to the Tottenham wing backs. He stayed with the defensive line. So yes, the second goal you can say like he could have blocked the cross too. Going forward too, he was okay. To be honest with you, I think 6 is probably like a fair for him. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Suyash, would you say the same thing?
Same thing, just a mention that goal line clearance where he headed it away.
That was very important.
That was crucial. I would still say that I would want to see him with a better partner who combines well with the fullback. And but yeah, just a 6. But I would say his 6 is better than the player he starts with against.
Yeah,
that's all I would say.
That's fair. Rafael Varane. I'll start with Suyash. What would you give Varane today?
I'd give him 7 or maybe just 6. Like it's a difficult one. Again, efficiency was great in terms of for both Dalot and Varane in terms of completing most of their passes.
Yeah.
I don't remember spectacular defensive moments from Varane either. I think a lot of the issues just came out of structure and not out of Spurs beating us 1v1. So 6, maybe 6.
Yep. How about you, NK?
Yeah, 6. He didn't really have a lot to do today. I think the 2 defensive midfielders today protected like the back 4, so they didn't really have too much to kind of like do today. So very quiet game, dealt with whatever came his way. Probably could say 6 is a fair thing to give him.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go. You know what? I'm gonna give him a 7, only because I think he was extremely efficient, like Suyash said. I think he's passing again 93% pass accuracy. Won all his tackles, won all his ground duels, won all his aerial duels. 3 clearances. He was effective. So not the loudest game, but I'll just
change it to 7 after you say all that.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 because he was relatively quiet, but he won. He was very efficient. So I'll give him a 7 just to be a little different. Harry Maguire, NK, what would you give him?
You know what? The performance Harry Maguire done today deserves a 7, but because of the on goal, I'll probably give him a 6. He done good today. He coming with a lot of criticism. People are gonna blame him for the on goal too, but there was nothing really he could do about that. His interception was great today. He was clearing the ball with his headers too. Kane, I felt like he dealt with Kane really good today too. So if it wasn't for that on goal, we would have been talking about him also having a decent game today too. So I'll give him a 6.
6? Okay, so what will you give him?
The trying to be anything related to agenda based, but I was going to give him a 6. Um, like a solid 6, like how we initially gave Varane, because I don't remember anything spectacular. But sometimes it's a good thing when you don't notice your centre backs. Maybe that was the case with Varane. With Maguire, though, I still have to chuck a point and make it 5 for the own goal, even though, like I said, it wasn't entirely his fault, but he still could have been a much better.
Yeah, I was gonna give him a 5-2. And I know for the people who are seeing this will be like, "Oh, Temmy's just hating right now. Temmy's just being a hater." I'm genuinely not being a hater. I think that he was decent. He definitely this was his type of game. A lot of sitting back, a lot of clearances, all that good stuff. If you look at his numbers, 88% pass accuracy. One is all his tackles, 4 clearances, 4 interceptions, 50% ground duels, 2 out of 3 aerial duels. So it was a good game. Like it was a mixed bag, you know what I mean? It was a mixed bag for him, but at the end of the day, I think a 5 is fair because I would have given him a 6 anyway, and then with the own goal, it has to drop to a 5 for me. So that's what we'll go with, guys. Get your thoughts in the comments on what you think Harry Maguire's score should be. Alex Tellez, I will give Tellez this one's tough. I'll give him a 6, even though I know he had a great assist, and maybe could. I'm interested to hear what you guys think, but I think there was moments where again it felt like, oh, do we lose on kick again? There was moments again where it felt like, I'm just like he's a little bit lightweight. Is that harsh? I don't know I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I would have given him a 6 today. Suyash, what would you give Tellez?
Yeah, I'd give him a 6 too. Gave the penalty, but then he probably redeemed himself by giving the assist. I did comment it before the game. He has to be on set pieces. Our set pieces have been really poor. Like we blame the defenders for not scoring, but we actually did not deliver the ball too many times on their head. Our corner kicks are like very very bad. But Alex
Right.
Telles at least has better deliveries in him, so he should be taking them.
Right.
In terms of passing, I still want him to improve. I saw a couple of them
Yeah.
long passes from deep that can
Yeah.
still be improved on. So
Yeah. He
yeah,
was 0,
6.
0 for 6 on long balls today, which is not good. Accurate or crosses, he was 2 for 6. Also not very good. But NK, what did you think about Tellez today? What would you give him?
Yeah, I felt like 6. I felt he was very composed today when he got a ball in terms of like progressing it like forward, like running forward with it. I felt like he was just comfortable. I saw him do 1 or 2 like skills. I'm thinking I've never seen you do this kind of like skills before too. Great delivery for the goal too. We've been lacking on that too. Yes, the penalty, as I said, it was just a bit kind of unfortunate. But normally, nowadays players normally look for that too. So when you defend it, you always have to like put your arms around you. As I said, he didn't really defensively. I don't think he done a lot wrong today. So based on that, I think 6 is also fair for him too.
Yep. If we just look at his overall stats, 74% pass accuracy. Obviously, he conceded a penalty. 2 out of 2 successful dribbles, which is good for a left back. Won both of his tackles, 4 out of 10 ground duels, 0 for 1 aerial duels. So definitely just a mixed bag for Alex Tellez. But no, I mean, again, he's a very solid left back. I mean, I'm not ever really that mad when he's in the side. Nemanja Matic today, I would give him a 7. I'd give him a 7. I thought he was really, really good today, composed, obviously involved in one of the goals. There were times where when he was caught out in positions he didn't want to be. So we had to make a bit of adjustments, tactically. And I think Ralph did a good job noticing that. But no, he's just a really, really good player. And I hope people can see it. I mean, we definitely need to, in the summer, either promote one of these young players to, start taking some of those minutes up and let McTominay and Fred be 8s, or buy a top class defensive midfielder. But it's gonna be interesting. NK, what would you give Matic?
Yeah, 7. As I said to you, the 2 of them, they protected the defense very good. So I said he hold his position in the 6. so that it couldn't give a lot of room for Kane to kind of like come in there and enjoy it too. And also when they switch him to come on the left hand side too, he normally like stayed in between what do you call it, Maguire and Telles too, so kind of like block those kind of like things. So he done his job protecting them. None of the goals came through the middle, and that shows you what kind of like job that he did too, and he played a key role too in the second game too. But getting to the end, I could see why they would change him. Probably, I'm pretty sure he will start the game against Atletico based on today's performance. He has
we'll
to
see.
start.
I hope so. I hope you're right about that. Suyash, what would you give him today?
7 as well. Just on the goal that you were mentioning earlier, on a perfect team goal, what we don't see as often with our team. A ball from midfield to one of the white players who beat the offside trap so well. Just smart movement and passing, and then a pass to Ronaldo for sort of like a tap in.
Right.
These are the chances that we should create a lot for a centre forward, whether that's Cristiano Ronaldo or someone else in the future.
Right.
This is something that we've not been doing really well.
Right.
What we do is create difficult chances and give difficult games to our centre forwards. We do it for wide players, but not as much for the centre forwards. So, shout out to Sancho, Matic for doing the simple and smart thing, and giving an easy chance to Ronaldo.
Yep, I agree. Let's look at some of his stats. 95% pass accuracy, 40 out of 42. That's amazing. 3 out of 3 accurate long balls, really amazing as well. 2 out of 3 tackles won. 6 recoveries. What else here? 3 interceptions. He was dribbled past 3 times though. Yeah, just good performance from Nemanja Matic. Fred, I'm gonna give him Fred an 8 today. I thought Fred was excellent, like excellent from start to finish. Defensively, the most active player on the pitch, covered the most ground. I would imagine. Passed the ball really well in transition today. There was a few runs where he was just driving through midfield. Was excellent. So I'm gonna give Fred an 8 today. Suyash, what would you give Fred?
I wouldn't go as high as 8. I would still be at 7 with him. I know you've checked the numbers. I think I checked at halftime as well. I think he was our least efficient passer. But yeah, he did create chances. And like you said, in the transitions, he was good. It was a mad game. Like, I really don't remember where he lost the ball. Maybe when I looked at the game back, I can see where he did not complete his passes. But yes, he didn't do that enough for me. So maybe 7, maybe 8 is too high, or for someone too special.
No, fair enough. NK, what would you give Fred?
Yeah, I'm a bit with last year. I'm kind of like sitting on the fence between an 8 and a 7. I felt today he covered the ground, in terms of like defensively, he was very kind of like good, where he was literally just being the leg around Matic, going around. He knew today his role was an 8, because normally when he played with McTominay, they struggle to know who's playing the 6 and who's playing the 8. Today, he just knew that today my job is as an 8, Literally, as I said to you, with Song and the other Tottenham winger, he was always going there to just stop them from like moving the ball, help the defensive out too. And on the transition too, he was very good, especially like in the first half. He was very good with the transition passes too. And that's what he is. He's always one of those players that fits that kind of like style of football, where if you want him to release the ball quickly, he's your guy. Second half, he was a little bit kind of like sloppy, and that's not just him. A lot of the players too were very kind of like sloppy too. Beautiful assist too, by the way. That's something you don't associate Fred to do, with that kind of a flick. Yeah, yep. I was impressed with him. So yeah, I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7.
Right. So yeah. So okay. So an 8 for me, 2 7s for Suyash and NK. I think the assist for me again was so good, and I think I would have given him a 7 with or without that assist. But let's look at this. And then the assist bumped it up to an 8 for me. Accurate pass, 86% pass accuracy. I think it's pretty good. 4 out of 4 successful dribbles, 4 out of 5 accurate long balls. Won all his tackles, 1 for 1, 2 blocks, 2 clearances, an interception, 8 recoveries. 5 out of his 7 ground duels won, which is something he's really struggled with in the past. So yeah, I mean, good game by Fred. I mean, 7-8, it doesn't really matter. He played well. The number 10 position, Paul Pogba. I'm gonna give him a 6 today. I thought he was okay. I don't think he was necessarily great. Lost the ball a bit too much for me. A bit too much for me. There's times where he just holds onto the ball maybe a second or two too late, and he loses it. Some of his the times he got dispossessed, it caused counterattacks, which is a little bit disturbing. But 6, not a bad performance for me. I think he's better in that number 10 position. I think he wasn't his greatest game, but against teams that are not as well set up as Spurs, I think that he'll find much more joy. But NK, what do you think about Pogba's performance?
Yeah, I think it was a 6. First half, he was playing as a 10, keeping it simple, allowing Ronaldo to kind of like use him. Like he wasn't getting to Ronaldo's way in terms of like position wise too. And as I say, kept it simple. When he got a ball, he knew when to slow the game down, when to speed it up. So first half, he just done that. He had one of those games where you don't really see what he's doing, but he was very effective in the first half. Second half, and that's, I think, since he came back from injury, his performance always drop in the second half because I think he just kind of like lose his stamina too. So second half was a bit sloppy where he was holding on to the ball too much too. And also when Matic went off too and then he started to kind of play deep, I was a bit worried when he came there too because he wasn't releasing the ball too fast. And I felt like if Tottenham were gonna kind of like counter us, he would have been one of the players that I was worried about. So
Right.
6 is fair.
Suyash, what would you say?
General standards, I would give him 6. With what he can and he should have done, I'd probably say even 5. I wasn't that happy with his game. In terms of keeping it simple, yes, like NK said, most of our players did, and even he did it well. But like you said, holding on to the ball for a bit long, late in terms of reacting to losing the ball and then fouling Kane. So those sort of things, like it epitomized his night, just being a bit too casual or maybe switched off, sort of.
Yeah, no, it's fair points there. So 6 across the board, or maybe a 5 for Suyash. Let's go to our wide players. Marcus Rashford. What would Marcus Rashford, NK, what would you give him today?
I'll give him a 5. I'll give him a 5. He had first half kept it simple, wasn't doing like he was playing as a player who was out of confidence, which is what we want from him. When you are out of confidence, keep it simple. And I feel like the first half he was doing exactly that, keeping it simple, tracking back to kind of like being a hole so that we stay kind of like compact. Second half, I don't know what happened, but 2-1 down, he started to go reverse back to the old Rashford where he tried to like shoot the ball from an angle when he shouldn't have done it. It just started to kind of like be a bit kind of like sloppy too. And he didn't stay onto the pitch for long. He didn't do nothing special. And he didn't really do a lot of the stuff that normally he would be doing, which is just being bad with his decision making. So I feel like 5 is just what we're gonna give him today.
Right. This is interesting. I would have given him a 6, and here's why. This is the reason why. I thought he worked way harder than he has in weeks and months. And I'll be completely honest with you. My biggest issue with Marcus Rashford, even more so than his bad decision making, is that he's woefully lazy. Was this a good game? No. But at least we've gotten back to what today, I should say. There was like a baseline level of hunger. He helped Dallo out a lot defensively, especially in that first half where it was a bit in the balance sometimes. I think there's times where previously Marcus Rashford will be, trailing the opposition, and the ball would be ahead of him, but he was behind the ball today. And I'm just going to give him a 6 for getting that baseline, thing correct today. he was not involved offensively. Like he was the least. He touched the ball the least today. From 15 out of 17 passes, like 17 passes, he only passed the ball 17 times today. This is everyone else is, everyone else is in the 40s, right? So not great, but I'm just gonna give him a 6 for that. The numbers aren't good. I'll list the rest of the numbers after Suyash gets done. But Suyash, what would you have given him?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what numbers. I haven't checked it myself, but uh, if you remember, once I'd made this point that people tend to underrate defensive work rate.
Yeah,
Like you saw, fair enough, you are giving him 6 for his effort, for his work rate, but for all his effort and work rate, he doesn't win the ball back. This is the thing when I compare him with someone like an Elanga and why I want him to start, especially in crunch games where you want your winger to be active defensively. And if Elanga puts in an effort, he actually does win the ball. Someone like a Dan James used to do the same thing as well. Rashford just can't do that. And on top of that, offensively, he hasn't been contributing, which makes it worse. So yeah, if you compare him to his recent standard of form, then you could say it's a 6. But just a generalized rating, I agree with NK. To me, it's a 5
yeah,
because
no,
we have given 5 to Maguire as well, I think.
no, wait, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Um, the numbers aren't great. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm just being a bit maybe biased because I just have a soft spot for him. But I've been really hard on him recently. 15 for 17 accurate passes, 0 for 3 on accurate crosses. Crossing was really poor. Dispossessed 3 times. 4 recoveries, 3 interceptions, which is decent for him. 1 for 6 ground duels, 1. 0 for 2 aerial duels, 1. So not just he was the least involved player clearly this game. I don't know, man. It just seems like it's not. There's just something missing with Marcus Rashford, and I know he's not everyone's favorite. I think there's a player in there. I don't think it's as bad as it should be, but I digress. Cristiano Ronaldo. I'll start with Suyash. What would you give? What would you give Mr. Hattrick today?
He rescued the game, and uh, even though his hold-up play isn't that great, what I like about him is he keeps it ticking. So he will not do anything brilliant, but he will still pass it around well.
Right.
When he does have the ball, touch and pass. What a hat trick, by the way! It just summarized his career. It included a screamer outside the box. It included a
Right.
header. It included a tap in.
Right.
that is typical
Classic.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Classic.
So I would give him 8. I think I haven't given 8 to anyone, and I think he deserves 8 to be the best rated player. Yeah.
I would give him a 9. I would give him a 9 today. He was, 37 years. I know I shouldn't consider the age, when it comes to giving players ratings, but a hat trick, and it was every goal was necessary. It wasn't like one of them was to take us up 2-0. It was they score or we scored, they scored, we scored, they score, and then just it was so clutch. And I thought his hold up play was actually very good today. Like I thought his hold up play was very good today. I don't know what you thought. I thought he passed the ball better than he's passed the ball in God knows how long. I thought he held the ball up well. I thought that all those little things that I've complained about in the past, it was there today. Let's look at real quick before I let NK give him his rating. I gave him a 9. Suyash is giving him an 8. 38 for 40 pass accuracy. That's 95%. 5 for 7 shot accuracy. 1 accurate long ball. 2 recoveries. 3 out of 4 aerial duels. 1 only dispossessed 1 time. It's hard to knock him today. But what would you give him, NK?
Yeah, I have to give him a 9. He was the man of the match today. I felt the week off. I felt Danny. He looked so fresh today. He looked like he had an energy. He looked like he had the legs to kind of like roam about. As I said, I told you, he just literally spent the game literally roaming about on the pitch. If I wasn't mistaken, you would have thought today he was playing as a number 10 and not as a striker too. Took his first goal, beautiful. Second goal too. Nice too, was right in the box too. Normally he would arrive there late. Today he arrived there perfectly too. And the header too. He literally we just needed him at the time too. He definitely have to be a man of the match today.
Yes, Ralph Rangnick. What would you give Ralph Rangnick today? Suyash, I'll start with you. What would you give Ralph
Temi,
Rangnick
I
today?
think you missed Sancho.
Oh,
Or
did I
did
miss?
you?
No. You're right. You're right. I missed Jaden Sancho. I missed Jaden Sancho before we go to Ranić. Jaden Sancho. I will give Jaden Sancho an 8. I thought he was excellent today. The confidence, the flair. I just really wish we never let go of Anthony Martial, because the way they would have played off of each other would have been a dream for me. But I digress. Jaden Sancho is getting better and better at left wing. 8 for him for me. Suyash, what would you give him?
Yeah, let me upgrade Ronaldo to 9 so that I can make room for an 8 for Jadon Sancho, because I was going to give him a 7, but yeah, I've given others 7, and I think Sancho has been better than them.
Yeah.
So it has to be like a 7.5 or even 8.
Okay.
And yes, someone that actually does not lose the ball, is not wasteful, and still is able to create chances for his teammates.
Right.
And not really difficult chances where you need to take extra touches or really get to the ball so much, but just simple chances and just being effective. So it's surprising. I'm going to take a little more time to talk about it, because the first half of the season, if that had to continue, literally we would have been fed the narrative that Sancho is going to take 1 year to get adjusted to the league.
Right.
That we would have been given the same excuse as Donny van de Beek, that the game is too quick for him in the Premier League, it's too physical for him, and he's not ready for it.
Right.
But he's just been the same Jadon Sancho that we've all known him for. Maybe not as explosive, but still like very much the same Jadon Sancho that we know him for.
Right. NK, what would you give him?
Yeah, I'll give him an 8, and you know what Suyash said most of it today. Today, one of the things that impressed me the most was that when he had the ball, especially when we were trying to counter or whatever it is, he looked after the ball really well. He knew when to slow down the game to bring other people into the game, and then he knew when to have a go to at the Spurs defenders too. They just didn't like him to get a ball at all. Like, they just didn't like him to get a ball too. And that was one of the things that was impressive too. His assist, he took it. I think he had a shot too that probably could say he could have got a goal to, but overall, very, very positive for him. When he get a ball, I think right now defenders, they struggle to read what he's gonna do. And that as a winger, when you have that wing, you receive the ball, they don't know whether you're gonna cut in or whether you're gonna cross it or what. Look, in the next, like, I expect big things from him next season. I really do. But yeah, 8.
Yeah, great, man. Oh, this is the thing with, and for me, I think this was one of our most balanced sides today. I tweeted this. I thought the midfield specifically was really balanced, even though Pogba didn't have his best game. Him playing the number 10 position, he does he doesn't naturally want to come and be in midfield, as opposed to Bruno, who wants to push a little more forward. So it just gives us a little bit more balance. Fred almost felt like it felt like it was in more of a free roll, if I could call it that, where he's all over the pitch. He's not, limited in his movement. It was good. Rashford, like we mentioned, he's been struggling, has continued to struggle. If it was Elanga there or Martial, as one of the wide players, it would have been a different story. But I think it was a good overall performance. Ralph Rangnick, what would you give him today, MK?
I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. I think tactically he set the team up to kind of like deal with Tottenham strength, which is
Right.
what do you call it? Kane and Son. We dealt with them. As I said, they didn't really have no joy through the middle of the pitch. They had to literally go through, or what do you call it, the wings. And from watching Tottenham, I always feel like their wing backs they don't really offer them a lot. And I think that's why Tottenham struggle as a team. And I think we literally made them kind of like go to areas where they didn't want to go. Substitution, I think when we were 2-1 up, he wanted to bring Lindelof on for us to go through at the back. But unfortunately, we just considered straight away, so he couldn't do that. And then when we went through to our page, just literally like switch it to do it to took Ronaldo off to give him some rest, took Matic off to give him some rest too. You would have probably got a 7 if I would say his lineup was influenced by players being ill and not being around. So I think that's why he managed to get a balanced squad today. It would have been interesting to see if other players were fit, what lineup he would have gone with. But overall, I'll give him a 6.
Yeah. Suyash, what would you give him?
I'd give him a 7. I feel like because we've won, I have to give him 7. I do agree with NK. I feel we saw a balanced lineup because there was no choice with a lot of players, and it would have been interesting to see what he'd have done if he had still had Bruno Fernandes, because he was one of our worst players versus City. And if he was fit, would he have still started or would he have been dropped? Similarly, Elanga getting dropped, I don't feel that was justified. Dallo coming into this team, that is the only good thing that I see in the lineup. And I did not see, like I said, not having as much possession and control of the game as Spurs had.
Right.
Even though we kept Spurs to the bare minimum, we didn't keep our game wasn't as good as it should have been. Efficiency wise, we were good, but I don't know. It's somehow like they were able to crowd us out. They were able to keep the ball longer than us.
Yeah. I would give him a 6. And not because of like a 6 is a above average, decent score. The Rashford thing was weird to me. The Bruno thing I think was forced on him. I think if Bruno was healthy, I think Bruno's playing. He's one of those players that seems like, undroppable in a way. So I mentioned this balanced side. We're talking about what is matches going to start on Tuesday or he has to start. I wouldn't guarantee it. So I think there was positives in terms of, I think we looked good when we did have the ball. We were a bit tidy. We were tidy in possession. We did have the ball, but we were a little bit more passive than what I would have liked. But, against Spurs, it was probably for the best. You don't want to get caught in behind too much with Son and Kulusevski and Kane. So I would give him a 6 overall. Decent game, but it was a fun one. Honestly, this was a fun game. A lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of excitement, watching it. But we'll just have to wait and see. Next game is huge. Atletico Madrid at home at Old Trafford. Tomorrow I'll be doing a match preview, hopefully with Kendall Rowan. So guys, be on the lookout for that. She's a big Atletico fan, so it's going to be interesting to get her perspective on that game. Make sure to tune into that. Guys, make sure to follow NK and follow Suyash. Their information's in the video description. Guys, thank you so much again for hopping on the channel with me. Here's to more and more great live streams. Here's to more great live streams. And guys, everyone who's watching, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, okay? And we'll talk to you guys very, very shortly. Deuces.
Peace.